Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it.
It's our anniversary. Oh, yeah.
For Better and Worth is going to be celebrating its 1-year anniversary.
Woohoo! I'm excited. We've done this 52 weeks, babe.
That's right. And they say sometimes you got to give people what they want.
Yes. So what we're doing on Thursday, January 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern is a Zoom Q&A with our community. So if you're interested, I encourage you to take a moment, register, because you will not be able to get access if you don't register, in the link below, and make sure that you jump on and have that Q&A time with us to celebrate 1 year of For Better and Worth.
And look, we're going to do our best to answer all your questions. You know, we are not experts, but we are going to give the people what they want.
That's right. That's right. So I hope you celebrate with us. We can't wait to see you there. January 25th, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Until then.
We're out. Hey, babe. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
Yes.
And you, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited because we get to talk about some really cool stuff. Like, I have this big smile on my face. I don't even know why. It's not even, I feel like this is more an episode for you and to give you shine, but I'm over here smiling. Maybe it's just because I love you a little bit, you know.
Yeah, you are really excited.
I am. No, I'm tickled.
This episode.
And I think I know why now. Because we're revealing to our audience an important milestone that you have hit.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're like laughing with me or at me. So
No. Okay, so let's be clear. I do not want anyone to laugh at me. Okay. When I get to this milestone, which no one will ever know, because we are going to pass by in the night on that one.
I'm just going to put it out there to
yes.
our listeners. Recently, I had a birthday.
Yes.
That was a milestone birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I have reached the big 50.
Woo-woo. Yes, honey.
And I just tell myself that people want to look like me when they hit 50.
They do. So that's real because you know what? I can't. So let me ask you this. Do you look in the mirror and see a 50-year-old?
Well, you know, my chin is getting pretty gray, but aside from that, I don't know, it's just weird. You know, when you were young, you always thought what older was.
Yes.
And, you know, today it's not 50.
Exactly.
I don't see that as older, but when I was in my teens, I thought, dang, man, 50, you getting up there.
Listen, we thought 40 was up there. I ain't gonna even trip. Like, when my mother turned 40, I was like, dang, you know, and I feel like that's the needle moves the closer you get to those milestones, right? Like,
I remember when you threw a party for your mother for her 50th.
Yes.
And I was thinking like, dang, 50 years, like, wow.
Yeah.
And she had been working for 25 years.
She had.
She was retiring.
That's right. From one career.
Right. And you know, like for those people who don't know, you know, the rule of 75.
Yeah.
Where you've been working someplace for 25 years and you're 50 years old and you can retire because you have 75 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, that's a long time. But now that I'm here, I'm like, well, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting going.
That's right. I think when you feel good, you like who you are, your life is good, then you can embrace aging with a positive perspective. I think, you know, a lot of times when there's been hardship and challenge and, you know, you can be thankful for the next day and thankful for the next year, but I think the perspective is different. And what is the term? Let's be clear, okay? There is a term when you see somebody and they 50.
Look,
and you know.
already, I was about to say it.
Say
and you brought it up.
Say it, babe.
It's like, dang, they've been rolled hard and put away wet. Like, that's a hard 50 years.
And that is not what you have experienced. So thank God. But I think that when that happens, that is something that we really
Yes.
have to, acknowledge that there is a
I think it's
difference.
just funny though that you were setting me up for it, and I was literally. It's like same brain.
Same
Like I
brain.
was literally about to say it. I
Mm-hmm.
that's look, people. That's that 25 going on
Yes.
26 years
Yes.
marriage, and I just think that's funny. But look,
Mm-hmm.
I do not mind, and you know this. I do not mind telling people my age
Good for you, baby.
because
Because in this relationship, you're gonna be
that's
holding
one
that down.
sided. That's one sided
That
for
is
sure.
totally one sided. You have a younger woman, and we don't need to talk about her age.
Look, but I just say, hey, God has been good.
Praise
I'm
the
still
Lord.
here. Every birthday is a
It
blessing.
is.
And so, look, that's why I get up and I hit the gym every day. And, I'm mindful about what I do and, eat and try and stay healthy. All of those things, so I can, continue to be in good health, stay
Yeah.
fit, and all of that. So,
Yeah.
it is all good, people.
So, do you feel like you've accomplished what you have wanted to accomplish at this age?
Man, that is quite a question because I always thought that, I would push and drive myself to do things and accomplish things, professionally and, financially and, with family. And I honestly think I am definitely on track. I've done a lot of the things that I've set out to do. I feel like financially I'm at a place where, you know, uh, we've made some huge strides. And if I was comparatively looking at myself to other 50-year-olds, I think definitely I'm ahead of the pack. And what I will say is that hitting 50 has caused me to just really be, contemplative and retrospective about life. I say I'm not having a midlife crisis, I'm having a midlife awakening.
Yeah.
And it really makes me think about what I want and what I want to do and
Mm-hmm.
what the next, portion of my life will look like.
You've been very thoughtful.
Yeah.
You have been increasingly more thoughtful about your why, finding meaning, less concerned about the short term impacts and more about the broader perspective and picture. That definitely has changed. And I would say that has been more than a year of you in
Yeah, for
that
sure.
in that space. And that's I have definitely witnessed that for sure.
I think that comes because, also I've experienced some losses in my life with family members and, my mom passed a few years ago, and it just forces you to really think and take stock, take account for what's going on in your life, and then taking that inventory of, have I done what I've wanted to do?
Mm-hmm.
What's still left on that list? Because I remember there were some years ago I had made this list of 100 things I wanted to accomplish.
Do you know where that is?
I do. I still have it.
Oh my gosh.
I still have it.
Because
And
I don't know if I can find mine. I'll be honest.
I actually looked at it, if it wasn't last year, it was a few years ago. And I had checked off, I hadn't got to 100, first of all. I think I had wrote down like 80 some odd things on my list. And I probably had checked off more than, you know, 70% of them.
So I'm curious, would you do a new list? It just made me think like, if I were 50 and I'm not,
See, people, this is the part where I'm talking about. Are we laughing at me or with
no,
me?
I am so thankful that you are here at this age. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it.
What does that mean? Like at this age, like
No. It means good for you.
wow, you a piece of work, man.
I love you. I love you. Anyway, but like I was thinking, would you do another list of 50 things you want to do now? You know what I mean? Like,
I absolutely would.
yeah.
I absolutely would because I think there's still things, financial goals that I have, that I want to accomplish. There's There's career goals that I still want to accomplish. There's business goals that I want to accomplish. And, there's just personal and family and
Experiences.
experiences and hobbies and, all types of things that I feel like there's so much to experience in life that if you don't do things with purpose and if you don't do things with intention, I could look up and it'd be another 15 years that have gone by.
Mm-hmm.
And I could say, well, man, I said when I was 50, I was going to do all this stuff. And then boom, you look up 15 years are gone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, 15 years, I'm going to be like, man, I did 100 things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to make another list that I'm going to do, my next 15 years and just, keep doing it like that. So,
What's cool is that essentially this is the second half, right? We have an aunt who is 101 years old.
mm-hmm.
And when we think about living that long, this is the second half of life. And, I would love to believe that you can experience a second half that's better than the first. That those things are possible because there's more available to you. There's more wisdom that you have. We've got more money than we had, I should say it that way. We will have had more money in the second half than in the first.
Yep.
And, and you're in good health. That's the honest truth. You grown and you in good health, right?
I think the starting point of today is, 200 yards ahead of where we were before.
Yeah.
So the starting line today on the second half, you're so much further ahead than you were, when we were in our 20s just getting going.
That's right. That's right.
And so it opens up a whole new world of opportunity and a whole new world of possibilities that probably weren't available, 25 years ago.
Right.
Because, I don't have debt. I mean, I have financial means now. I have, greater understanding and experiences, and I have wisdom that I can apply and do things, differently.
Yeah.
I can take more calculated risks and even just other types of risk, because maybe there's things that I've wanted to do that I didn't do. And I say, well, no time like the present than to do it.
Yeah.
And I think you have to just be intentional and purposeful and put action to it. And it's never too late.
Yeah.
And if there was one thing I wanted to relay to people, it's not that you're getting older. You just have to you have to use wisdom and apply that wisdom and then just take the chance and just do it. Be like Nike, just do it.
So, you know what? That's funny. I almost blew by that. Yeah, just do it like Nike. But anyway, you say that and I had to embrace that because in celebrating your 50th, at first you were thinking, oh, we can just have, dinner with some friends, blah, blah, blah. There was this sort of downplay. We ain't got to do a whole lot. And I want to know, did you really care about what you did to celebrate this milestone?
I think deep down I did care, but I was like, I'll go back to my statement, which you try to not let me own. I was like, I'm frugal. I don't want to spend a whole lot.
Oh my gosh. You know what? You have got to take that out your Rolodex of words that you can say. You are not frugal, sir. So here is what's funny. Okay, so you saying, oh, let's have, we can just have a dinner. We ain't got to do all that. I don't, it's because actually having some type of, or even a getaway or whatever, it takes effort, energy, and it does take more money.
Right.
And there was a part of me that was set. I was not about to just do dinner. I was not about to just plan.
I'll put it like this. In retrospect, once I made the decision, let's just do a party. Let's just have fun. Let's do it big. Do it big Willie style.
Hey.
And we had so much fun.
We did.
Who was able to, come and hey, if you weren't there, just kind of to my head, not my heart.
Listen, this, you know what? Here is the thing that I have heard from friends, and I'm embracing as well, is that no filter at 50. Right? No filter. You do what you want to do, right? And so I wanted you to have what I called a better with time. Not over the hill. We not going there. You know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely not over the hill.
Right, but like a fine wine, you get better with time. And I want you to feel like that is the true case for your life, the second half, right? That it is better because
Absolutely.
you have a little time
I
under your belt.
absolutely embrace that, because I think I've gotten smoother over time.
Oh, Lord. Wait a minute. Let me define how you done got better with time. Hold on. Not you saying, oh, yeah, I'm smoother. Not you just walking right on into that. Let me be the judge of what is better with time.
Right,
okay.
right. But my suit game is better now.
We'll take that.
And I just think, just being comfortable in who you are.
Yeah.
And I think people listening to this, that's what people struggle with so much today.
Right.
If I see one more commercial about, weight loss and the weight loss drugs.
Come on now.
And I work in that industry, and it's like, I'm still like,
you work in the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
Not in the weight loss drug industry.
I know, but I'm saying like those drugs are great drugs, but it's like, I don't think people are fixing the root issues, like, diet, exercise, some of the fundamental things. It's like, just be comfortable with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then do proactive things to try and better your position.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not where you want to be, it's not too late. If you don't weigh what you want, or you don't look like you want, then, get busy working at it.
Yeah.
I'm not where I want, but I am definitely further ahead than where a lot of people are, but I'm still working on me.
Yeah. I think that's one thing about you. I could go into a list, but we're not going to do all that and take the time. But I will say one thing about you is that you are very comfortable with who you are, and you're not going to apologize for that.
And I respect other people for who they are.
And we just recently had a conversation with someone where they saw the hood Chris. Okay. Let's there was a hood moment in Christopher's life, and then the holy Chris as well in the same conversation. And there is a level of respect in that you embrace all of who you are, and your past, your present, and your future self. Like, you get a chance to just say, hey, this is me, take me or leave me. And I can appreciate that, because I think a lot of times people feel like, they can't share their past struggles or challenges that they had, or the ones that they have today, or be vulnerable enough with someone that they don't know well to give of themselves in that way. And so I can respect that. And then the other thing about you that I love, and loved from day one, I'm going to say this, from day one, is that no matter who the audience was, no matter who you would be able, we were 22, you were 22, I think, when I met you, and I was 20, and no matter.
So you just told.
Shut up, be quiet. No math.
I caught you.
See, you know what? Stop being detail oriented right now. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Okay, dang it. Anyway, I slipped up. But you were young, and you could have a mature, intelligent, responsible type of conversation with any adult in any situation, and you were always the same. You are a person of integrity, and at a young age, like, a lot of young people don't even know what that is, but I feel like you were consistent. You could be yourself with my parents, be yourself with your peers, and it was always the same human. You know what? Don't be getting a big head, okay?
I'm just quiet. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah, okay. I love you, and that's enough. So, anywho.
I think too many people take their past, almost want to purge it. And they want to wipe out who they were.
Yes.
And only represent and present this image of who they are now or who they have become.
Yeah.
When I fundamentally believe that the past experiences that you have set you on the pathway of who you are able to become.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that was fundamentally part of what made you who you are, how can you diminish that part of you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to embrace that.
Yeah.
You have to know when to turn it on, when to turn it off.
Yeah.
But that part of you made who you are today.
And it also is a part of realizing how far you've come, right?
Absolutely.
So the other part of this is that no, you are not exactly the same as you were 25 years ago or what have you, but it is a part of your story, and it has made you the man that you are.
And it's that story that helps others grow.
Yeah.
It's that story and that process of development that people can learn and glean from.
Mm-hmm.
Because just because you start someplace doesn't mean that's where you're going to be. It's a defining factor that shows this is where you start, but this is where you can go, and this is who you can become.
Right.
And at this age, I feel so much more enlightened and comfortable in my skin, and knowing that I haven't made all the right choices or all the right decisions, but there's always another choice. There's always another decision to be made. And I lean back on those previous choices or decisions to give me guidance on what should be next. And I look at previous states of who I was to help define who I want to become and how I can be better than I previously was.
So let me ask this question. When you look back at your 20-year-old self, would you have seen yourself being able to be at this place financially today?
I think 20-year-old me was a hustler, just like 50-year-old me. Because at 20, you got to remember, I was going to college as a full-time student, and I was working full-time as a FedEx driver.
Yeah. And that's how we met. I liked you in that FedEx uniform.
Right, but how many 20-year-olds today do you see that literally go to school full-time and work full-time?
A good job with benefits.
Right, a job that requires, a lot of physical labor, and it's typically either or, not both. And I think people can do it, and sometimes people don't know they can do it. And I share that story with people because if I was able and capable of doing it, anybody is able and capable of doing it.
But they're not making those choices. This generation, and we can have a whole conversation about that, but this generation is not making that type of choice to work hard like that to see something different. So apparently, you were a hustler then, you were a hustler now. It's just a different hustle.
Right, but the root of your question is, did I see it then? I absolutely saw the potential.
Okay.
And the possibility.
Right.
I knew that between there and here, there would be a lot of work that would be required.
Right.
A lot of sacrifice, a lot of, choices, a lot of decision making. And over that 30-year process, I've gone through all of that. Choices, decision making, good, bad, indifferent. But I knew that I could get from where I was to where I wanted to go.
So that's interesting because as a 20-something-year-old, I would have never had the vision. Like what I lacked at that time was vision. I had passion. I could become a go-getter. I was passionate about a lot of different little things at that time. But if you were to ask me, could I literally see Ericka and Chris today, where we are financially doing what we're doing? No. I could only see a fraction of that occurring. And in my 20s, when we got married and in our first couple of years, the fraction I could see was debt freedom. I didn't know what debt freedom would get us to, but I could see a piece of something. And I knew if that piece was successful, then the rest of it might come and I would have a new vision.
So you make a very good point. Like someone who's listening out there, they may not have the ability to see the 20-year-old them or the 30-year-old them or even the 40-year-old them and what the 50-year-old them can look like.
Right.
But maybe they can see, maybe it's going to take 5, 6, 7, 10 steps to get to from where they are today to where they want to go.
Right.
Maybe they can see steps 1 and 2.
Right.
That's important. It's important to just be able to take that first step. Like even the 20-year-old you could see, okay, first step I see that, we need to accomplish is debt freedom. That was important because if you couldn't see that, then we couldn't get on the same page and work towards that.
Yeah.
But then once we accomplished that first step, then you could reevaluate and say, okay, that was 25-year-old you, that said, okay, now I reached this. Now what's the next thing that I can set? And that's all goal setting, right?
Yeah.
That's all, you accomplish a goal, you reevaluate, reassess, set another goal. I just think that one of the things about me, I've always been a visionary for my life, for those around me, seeing the big picture. So I think for me, it may have come a little bit easier because I was always like a dreamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still am a dreamer because, I go to big and I have details. You're like, well, hold on. Let's come back some because I'm not there.
I have learned to let you dream. And then I have learned to ask you, all right, now that you see all the way out there that I can't see.
Right. What do we need to start with?
I need steps 1 and 2 right now.
Right.
Like tell me how to have a vision for steps 1 and 2.
Yep.
So that as a team we can get to that vision you talk about because I can't see all that. And that has actually been consistent throughout our relationship. That part of me and that part of you hasn't really changed.
Right.
We have just learned how to work it out. And so here's so you mentioned, things in your 20s and 30s and 40s, etc. And there are a few, you can go on many different websites and find the things that experts believe you should accomplish by
different
certain ages.
Financial calculators.
But things you should also accomplish in certain decades, right? And so I went to see what should you have accomplished by 50, and then also what you should be working on in your 50s. And so one of the things that should be complete by expert standards, their recommendation is to have no debt beside your home at 50.
I'm looking at my paper here. Check mark.
Yes, praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Check that one off.
And so we were intent on doing that. And that's something we actually did in our 20s, which was well ahead of what the experts have said. They have mentioned college planning, for kids. Now, I do believe that needs to start earlier. I feel like college planning needs to begin when you have kids, okay?
It needs to be at day 1, you need to be thinking about it.
But we are in a season where we're right there with our youngest who is still in college. And the truth is we started early. Yeah. So there are a lot of people who are literally in their 50s and their kids are entering college and all that kind of stuff. We started early.
We're almost done.
I know. And so planning for that ought to occur a decade ahead at least.
At minimum.
So I find that to be interesting, but we're in that moment right now. The thing that I want to really think about is the paying off your home. And that's a huge one for us right now because that's one of our goals regardless of what anybody else says.
Yes, we are so close. And that is going to happen in the near future.
Well, I want to hear, when do you think that's going to happen?
Well, I think this year or next year.
Okay.
It's a 2024, 2025 thing. So
okay,
it will be done at the latest 2025.
So I'm going to put something out here on the airwaves.
Uh-oh.
Let's make sure that's done before I'm 50.
Well, I think that's doable.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's doable.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Okay, so we look at us casting some vision, setting some goals, putting a framework. I love it. And so that is something that in your 50s you work on. But I would love for us to have that done quick. because we're pretty darn close. We're pretty darn close. And then here is where I kind of want to hang out and marinate is the retirement. So one of the things they say is in your 50s, max out your retirement. So what does that mean to you?
So I'm going to say this to everybody who is in their 49th year of life, planning for your 50th birthday. This is your catch-up year.
That's right.
Okay? You can put an extra $7,500 into your retirement savings.
Yeah.
And the Roth numbers change for 2024, and they are actually 23,000.
The 401k.
No, 401k. I'm sorry.
Yes.
401k change. So if you work for an organization, you contribute to your 401k, you can put $23,000 into your 401k in 2024. And you can put an additional $7,500 into your 401k as a catch-up because you're in your 50th year. So if you're 49, start doing it right now. And I didn't even think about it last year. I was just like, it's my 50, but it is on track today. We are getting that extra $7,500 for retirement. And so together, that's $30,500. That's a lot of money for a lot of people to put away. But if you can do it, do it.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is you're making that retirement day and that retirement nest egg, you're just making it larger. So do all you can and take full advantage of that. And it reduces your taxable income. So
yeah, I think that is huge. And the reason that's there is because you're getting closer to quote unquote retirement, whatever that looks like for you. So they're giving you the opportunity in your highest earning years to put away more money for retirement. So you have said this for years. You have said this for years that you can't wait to get to, you can wait. You can enjoy the journey, of course, but you will retire at 59 and a half. Do you feel like that is still true since it is less than 10 years away now?
all I will say for the people who are listening is TBD.
Oh, you're non-committal now.
It's TBD.
You are within the decade where you would be making that decision to step away from working.
It is yet to be determined. So I will not be committal to a number on this podcast or any other podcast.
Perfect. So here is my disclaimer, is that whenever someone's thinking about retiring, and I get into the nitty-gritty details because that's what I do with coaching, and it is literally my job to help people think of all of the scenarios. But the thing that has caused me to pause is the whole idea of health insurance, because Medicare does not kick in until 65. And
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
A big deal.
So that's a 6-year gap.
Yeah.
And I have had clients who have paid over $20,000 a year for medical insurance or health care of some sort to cover them between that time period. And that's a large number.
I say TBD because my thoughts may change.
Yeah.
I may want to retire sooner. I may want to wait longer just for those reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it all comes down to enjoying what you're doing at that time and at that moment.
Right.
And if that ever changes, I want to put myself in a position to make decisions according to what that change is.
Yeah.
If it means I need to go longer, okay. If I need to go shorter, I'm trying to work to put myself in the position to be comfortable enough to say, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to go do something different, or you know what, I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm going to ride this out, and I just want options.
Yeah.
And so for me right now, that's what I'm focused on, is creating options and what those options can look like.
So the other thing that has shifted in particular in 2023 is that we started saying it's not just retiring at 59 and a half. Maybe it is doing something different, or adding on, right? Because so our podcast is our little fun empty nester baby. She not, producing no income yet, but like that kind of stuff where we're like, you know what?
Oh, 2024 is a year.
It is. And what is possible with our choices in the next 4 to 5 years that will open up more options for you to make a different decision. So for instance, getting into, a business or having enough in real estate where, it covers our expenses. These are the things that we're now thinking about, because here's the funny thing is, we have always said, like, we're adjacent to FIRE. We're adjacent to financial independence, retire early. That isn't something we knew about in our 30s.
Right.
We just had got wind of that in our 40s, when we were sort of beyond when a lot of people choose to retire literally early in that movement.
It needs to be more like fiber. Not fire, fiber. Financial independence, barely early retirement.
That's us. We barely early. Christopher. Oh my God, that's crazy.
We're going to start a whole new movement called fiber.
You are crazy. But that's good, because that's for real us. Because it's like we're barely early. You know what I'm saying? Like we might be.
You just said I'm in the decade of retirement potentially. So it's like it's barely early.
It is. But I think it's really, the other thing to think about, honestly, is like, in order to have options, you need to have some cash, right? You need to, and so we've invested for our future, like retirement. We hadn't invested to step away from working.
Look, I have a colleague at work, and she just recently retired, and you had the chance to meet her, and she's been working. She's older than both of us, and she has built a real estate business because she has several properties that she Airbnb. She has several rental properties, and she's basically been planning for this.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting, she started almost at the same time and age that I'm at.
Mm.
And then
she started doing those extra things.
She started doing the extras, thinking about when she wanted to retire, and what she wanted that to look like. So she started creating passive income, leveraging real estate, and doing other things and other business ventures. And so she really became very methodical about it. And we've been methodical, and I think we're entering that phase. It's like, okay, well, let's take a step back. Let's get a little more strategic about what it can look like. And that's why I say TBD, because we're going to go back to the lab and re-engineer and cook something up, and we don't know what that recipe is going to produce.
That's right.
And so
that's right.
Let's get into
this real quick. Is if we're halfway and you're closer to retirement than not, let's put it that way. Are we on track financially? That's I think always the big question, and that's a question I actually like to ask people, or help them to see what it would look like to be on track.
I think that for those that are listening, I can confidently say that we're probably ahead of pace. So not just on track, but we're tracking ahead of pace right now. Because if you go back and you look at what the experts say, they will put factors, they'll take your income and factor how much you should have saved, or net worth. And it's not just savings, it's total net worth.
Yeah.
And when we factor a net worth of where we're at today and where we should be, we're actually, according to the experts, ahead of pace.
Yeah.
And so I think that the first 50 years have been effective.
I love that word. That's good. That's good. We did what we needed to do to be at this place, and I think our strategy might shift in the next little season. But yeah, I'm gonna just give a couple shout outs. One is my favorite book, The Millionaire Next Door. It's an oldie but a goodie. And that is one of the very first place that I found a ratio or a calculation on what your net worth should be by age. And in there it just says, take your age, multiply it by your income, and then divide it by 10. That's where you ought to be. And the first time we did this years ago, we were not on track. But we have since, in 20 years, after having read that book, definitely gotten on track and exceeded that. And then the other book is Your Money Ratios, which I actually like because it has a lot of different ratios in there. And it says that your net worth ought to be greater than 5.2 times your income. And so they were very closely aligned. And so the coolest part is just to kind of understand that retiring is not just an age, but it's also a number that you need to have had saved.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing, like, doing that work to kind of reevaluate where we are has been a really good process. And I think when you enter into a new decade, that is just a really good evaluation to take to see, you know, if something needs to alter, change, or shift in order for you to, in fact, be on track. So that's exciting. I'm just excited. High five, we did it. Let's go. Let's keep it up.
And I think I'm gonna give the people that make it worth it, since this is, my episode.
Oh, okay.
I think no matter where you are today, do the hard things, the necessary things to reach the goals that you have. Because for me to be able to say at 50, we've been effective and we did the things necessary to be able to say we're ahead of track.
Yeah.
And sometimes just doing the things you're supposed to do are the hard things.
Yes.
So do the hard things and do the things that you're supposed to do.
That's so good.
Make some of the sacrifices today that will get you where you want to be in the future.
I love it. Well, this has been really good, husband. Happy birthday to you. I'm excited.
Appreciate it.
I'm excited about this next decade and the second half. And so it's just been awesome to kind of share some of that with our listeners. And until next time,
we're out. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on ForBetterandWorth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.